Hey, world builders, welcome back to Build Together. This is day 221. Today's prompt is, what's a strange piece of high-class etiquette in your world? So I wrote about garment sweeps. Now, the elves have a odd tradition that most of their clothing is actually made with a couple of clasps on the front. You can easily unclasp the front of the coat or jacket or robe or whatever it is that you're wearing and kind of open it, revealing just more cloth underneath, and then close it back up and clasp it again. And the origins of this are sort of sad and weird. Originally, many elven generations ago, when an elf of noble blood was to visit another one, then it was very common practice for that elf to disrobe down to the waist, at least, upon entering the house of that other noble. The reason for this is that you display that you have no spots or blemishes in relation to any tiefling corruption. You do not have the genetic mutation. There is no one in your bloodline who is ever corrupted by a demonic entity, which is the whole idea here. You'd think this would be sort of embarrassing and something that a noble would never want to do, but it actually, the importance was so impressed that, look, I am legitimate, that it was valuable to them, and that everyone kind of did it, and it became very customary. In fact, to the point where the clothing began to change and warp. For a while, most elven clothing had these sort of master clasps at the top, and you could undo those, and everything down to the waist would fall. And you very easily redo it up at the master clasp section, and you'd be ready to go, and it would be a little bit less awkward and time consuming to do this whole process. Then that shifted to flaps that opened and actually revealed. And then that shifted finally to more recent elven generations to what is now just sort of an echo of the actual original practice. And you have these flaps that don't uncover anything and are more just a proprietary purpose. And they reinforce sort of this idea of noble legitimacy in a very nebulous way. So now when nobles greet, they often do the same thing where they open that flap that shows more of the same clothing underneath, and then they reclose it. And if they don't have a piece of clothing that does this, sometimes they'll just mime the action if it feels necessary in the moment. What's a strange piece of high class etiquette in your world? Thanks for building together.